The city of Semarang, Central Java, began in the 8th century AD. It was a coastal area called Pragota and was part of the ancient Mataram kingdom. The area then was a port with a cluster of small islands. As a result of sedimentation, which is still ongoing now, these clusters are now uniting and forming as a land. The below part of Semarang known today was once a vast ocean. The port is estimated to be in the locations of the present Bulu Market area and lengthens into Semarang Harbor, where Admiral of the fleet Cheng Ho docked in 1405 AD. At his dock site, Admiral Cheng Ho built a temple and mosque, which are still visited today and are called the Sampokong Temple. Starting from there, the civilizations of Semarang city began. This city, which was called Atlas City, has a distinctive feature, which is ethnic multiculturalism. Various tribes, races, and religions blend into a noble civilization. All elements of society work hand in hand to build the city of Semarang into a city that respects differences. People live in peace and prosperity without any conflict. This also affects the existence of acculturations in the city of Semarang, namely the social system to the architecture of the building. Some buildings are made with a mixture of cultures and local elements in religious rites. Many things can be learned from the history of the Semarang city, where people go back and forth to top and settle down, starting from trading and studying. Various kinds of interests unite in differences. Sampokong, remarkable Chinese culture in Semarang. Talking about Semarang and its acculturations, a magnificent building standing until now, tells everything. The great temple Sampokong is one of the iconic cultural heritage in the city of Semarang. The word Sampokong is taken after the name of the legendary figure Admiral of Fleet Cheng Ho and his two deputies. This greatness covers many aspects, including the persuasive spread of culture in Semarang city. The expeditions carried out by Cheng Ho and his colleagues has a major influence on acculturations in various regions. Many architectures reflect Cheng Ho's role in an area. One of them is the house of worship. The history of Sampokong begins with the constructions of a statue of Zheng He near a resting place when his fleet sailed to Java in 1417. After the death of Cheng Ho's helmsperson and the collapse of the cave where he rested, the cave that became the forerunner of the founding of Sampokong was rebuilt. The revitalization of the great temple has created a new civilization for the people of Semarang city.
Memang kita yang akulturasi budayanya kita bisa dilihat dari gedungnya kelenteng Sampokong lah ya. Itu ada warna merah, warna kuning dan warna hijau. Dan warna merah itu yang ya memang dari budaya Tionghoa, dan kalau hijau-hijau merupakan yang budaya Jawa gitu.
Many interesting things can be explored through acculturation. One of the unique things about Sampokong Temple is the prayer room or musola inside the building. This symbol of pluralism is the strength of society to unite differences in peaceful social life. Those differences do not depend the solidarity among of the people Semarang city. The intertwined cultures and high tolerance make this possible. Sampokong is the only temple that has a mosque caretaker. Changes brought from the history of Sampokong are also attached to the spread of customs in the people of Semarang. Admiral of Fleet Cheng He told numerous things when he decided to dock in Semarang. Not only Cheng He, but in the end, the Chinese who landed in Semarang were also inspired to teach many skills. Lumpia, a typical food originating from China, is now legendary in Semarang city. Lumpia food is one of the cultural heritage taught to the people of Semarang. People can feel many benefits manifested through acculturations. One of them is cooking skills and recipes that eventually become iconic in Semarang, starting from the love story of Cho Chai Chu and Bok Wasi. The combinations of Chinese and Japanese specialties become a new dish called lumpia. Traces of culture are connected to the religiosity of the diverse people of Semarang city. One of them is the Muslim community around Kampung Melayu, on Jalan Layur, Dadapsari, North Semarang District, Semarang City, Central of Java. There stands tall a mosque. This house of worship is named Layur Mosque and has become one of the buildings that record the oldest trading activities in this Semarang city. Built around 1802, Layur Mosque, better known to the community as the Kampung Melayu Tower Mosque. Various communities with different religious background live together around the mosque. For example, the Malay community who have lived there first. Around 1743, traders from Yemen, Pakistan, and Indian Muslims settled around Kampung Melayu. The key point of building the mosque is the presence of Middle Eastern Muslims who lived there, side by side with the Malay community. The Arab merchants traded and broadcast Islam in the city that nicknamed the City of Atlas. The Arabians lived with the other pre-existing ethnicities in Kampung Melayu. In the late 18th, many agents accommodate and send off people for Hajj. This is due to the connections with merchant partnerships in Arabian Peninsula. The existence of these Arab traders became a multicultural symbiosis in the Kampung Melayu area. Kampung Melayu, as the commodity center, has a substantial influence on the civilizations of people around the Layur Mosque.
Karena di sekitar Kampung Melayu ini dulu ada air pasang atau air rob, sehingga fungsi bangunan yang asalnya musola atau masjid menara ini terletak di lantai kedua, sekarang menjadi lantai awal, lantai pertama. Karena lantai pertama sudah mengalami pengurukan, sehingga yang dulunya itu berfungsi lantai itu untuk tempat wudhu, untuk sandar kapal, untuk menyimpan barang-barang maupun hal-hal yang terkait dengan perlengkapan yang ada di masjid yang ditaruh di lantai dasar itu sekarang tertutupi oleh hurugan, sehingga sudah tidak bisa digunakan. Tapi kita masih bisa melihat bekasnya dari bentuk kusen yang terpendam itu tadi. Sekarang ini sebagaimana yang kita lihat di Masjid Menara, bahwasanya lantai 2 dulu di masjid itu sekarang menjadi lantai pertama. Tapi itu tidak mengurangi daripada keaslian yang ada di Masjid Wakaf Menara ini tadi. Wujudnya atap bangunan masjid ini itu dapat kita temukan hampir sama dengan atap bangunan masjid Kauman atau masjid-masjid Jawa pada waktu itu. di mana itu menandakan bahwasanya paling tidak ada jejak arsitektur Jawa di dalam pembangunan Masjid Menara ini. Yang itu yang tidak bisa kita pungkiri. Dan juga yang kita lihat juga bentuk ornamen yang ada di jendela maupun kusen-kusen yang terdapat di Masjid Menara ini, itu paling tidak itu hampir sama yang kita temui dengan masjid-masjid yang ada di Jazirah Arab ya, khususnya di kota Tarim atau di negara Yaman. Bentuk pembacaan syair atau kitab-kitab yang digunakan pada waktu itu masih berupa Arapegon dalam bahasa Arab yang sebetulnya itu adalah bahasa Melayu.
There has not been any conflict, either in rituals or religious differences since the establishment of the Layur Mosque. The community around the mosque is very supportive of differences. For any event like Tarbiyah, the community voluntarily provides a meal or dish as a form of owning the Menara Mosque. The dish itself is a form of acculturation, namely the many culinary origins of the Javanese, Arabic, Bugis, Malay, and other tribes that are fused into the culture of the community. Through cuisines, people's tongues are connected from year to year, through events that occur and are repeated as oral traditions in Kampung Melayu. The community is also united by several ethnic groups fused by marriage. There are still many ethnic descendants of Bugis, Maduris, Banjar, and Arabs, as a sign that they have reproduced the history of the Layur Mosque scrolls. Cultural and historical factors at the Layur Mosque make people interested in digging for information, coming one after another, both as tourists and researchers. That interest made them visit because of the same thing they found. As the epicenter of life in the trading area, Kampung Melayu was named so because of the Malay community that dominate it. The authentic history of Muslim culture and Islamic civilizations continues to be told as a story to this day. The different cultures and the mixed community are concrete proofs of the acceptance of truly noble differences in the city of Semarang. Not only become a house of worship, but Layur Mosque has also become a tourist attraction that makes tourists feel the memories of the past, scavenge the remnants of the cultural diversity that lives there. The diversity of religiosity of the peoples of Semarang is endless to review. One of them is the Christian community and the Blenduk Church in Kota Lama, Semarang. Blenduk is a word translated from the Javanese language that means bubbling shape. It is used as the church name because the roof resembles that diction. The church, now known as GBIP Emmanuel, is the oldest in the city of Semarang. This form of acculturation is closely related to the history of the diversity of its people, architecture, and the church's naming. The Blenduk Church began from Portugal to Indonesia, to be precise in Semarang. The initial building of the Blenduk Church had not yet functioned as a house of worship, but only served as a simple headquarters for the Portuguese army in 1742. The initial form of the building was still a stilted house with a canopy roof. In 1753, the Dutch landed and started renovating the building into a church after the Portuguese left Semarang. From 1894 to 1895, the permanent Blenduk Church building began to be seen and used consistently.
Gereja ini memang dominan dibangun dalam bentuk Eropa, namun awalnya adalah ada campuran daripada desain yang diambil dari Pulau Jawa sendiri. Namun yang untuk sekarang ini adalah semua mengadopsi dari Eropa yang ada pada tahun 17-18. Mereka mengadopsi bentuk yang ada di Eropa hingga dibangun di kota Semarang ini.
The long history of society and culture is embedded in the Baroque architecture of Belenduk church construction. Baroque is a building style in Europe that display grandeur and luxury. This architectural style was very popular in Italy during the 17th century and spread throughout Europe to the United States. The hallmarks of the Baroque are its highly detailed architectural forms, marble, large-scale decorations, and vibrant color. The Baroque style is meant to represent the glory of the Roman Catholic Church in that century.
Ya, untuk Jawanya mungkin ya semacam ada ukiran-ukiran yang ada di orgel ini. Ya, ukiran-ukiran ini kan dari Jepara kan memang mereka di sana terkenal dengan kota ukir, sehingga Belanda pun mengambil atau membuat ukiran-ukiran dari sana.
However, the unique combinations with the mentions of Belenduk, which comes from the local language, prove the existence of cultural acculturations in the Emmanuel Church building. From the past until now, the community around the church has always accepted cultural events that form harmony in diversity. In addition to the Belenduk Church, Semarang City also has other interesting churches to visit. Since it was inaugurated in 1935 to 1937, the Semarang Cathedral Church, or officially the Cathedral of the Blessed Virgin Mary Queen of the Holy Rosary of Randusari, is one of the symbols of acculturations in the city of Semarang. This church is located in the central area of Tugu Muda, along with Lawang Sewu, Mandala Bhakti Museum, and Bulu Market. The Cathedral Church has many interesting and historical stories related to the multicultural society of Semarang. The Cathedral Church has European architectural buildings with a mixture of local elements brought by the architects T.H. van Ooyen and Annemer Klevede. The architects who worked to build the Cathedral Church brought elements of the temple building in Indonesia, which can be seen from the use of stones and some of the ornaments inside. Some pastors believe that T.H. van Ooyen and Annemer Klevede have combined Indian culture with Japanese temple culture.
Yang pertama adalah penggunaan bahasa dalam ibadat. Yang dulunya sebelum tahun 66, sebelum Konsili Vatikan kedua, itu dalam ibadat itu menggunakan bahasa Latin sebagai bahasa resmi dalam ibadat, bahasa liturgi, istilahnya begitu. Nah, sejak Konsili Vatikan kedua, di seluruh gereja Katolik dimungkinkan ibadat menggunakan bahasa setempat. Nah, sejak saat itulah lalu digunakan bahasa Indonesia, lalu menggunakan bahasa Jawa, dan sebagainya. Lalu secara keseluruhan ibadat tidak banyak berubah, paling alkulturasi kecil-kecilan, misalnya dari lagu-lagu yang dipakai itu beberapa lagu dengan gaya budaya lokal, gaya Jawa, gaya Sunda atau gaya apapun yang ada di Indonesia. Itu kemudian dalam saat-saat tertentu dalam perayaan-perayaan besar itu dipakai ada tari-tarian yang mengungkapkan pujian kepada Tuhan. Ya, biasanya kalau ada tari-tarian ya ketika iringan lagu menggunakan gaya Jawa misalnya seperti itu, lalu untuk mengiringi saat upacara tertentu, bagian tertentu yang memungkinkan untuk ada ungkapan yang diungkapkan dengan sebuah tarian, lalu di situ ada tarian tradisional yang dipakai gitu. Dengan menggunakan lagu liturgi yang bahasa Jawa misalnya seperti itu.
The whole building in the Cathedral Church area functions as a center for the activities of the congregations and the surrounding community. Several cultural events have been held, such as Jatilan and Wayang Kulit performances. The community indicates that the Semarang Cathedral Church and the congregations share a sense of peace, maintain harmony, and spread acculturation through action. The wealth of religiosity in the city of Semarang is something the public needs to know. Not only Islam and Christianity, but Hinduism also flourished among the Semarang crowd. The widely known belief in Bali turns out to have interesting communities and movements in Semarang. One of the symbols is the existence of 5 temples in the Semarang area. The center of civilizations is Girinata Agung, a temple without territorial lines between man and God. As the Great Temple, Girinata is a great monument that unites a plural society. From 1970 to this day, various activities has been held with educational and historical values, maintained at the Agung Girinata Temple.
Konsep pura di Kota Semarang ini mungkin tidak persis dengan konsep pura yang ada di Bali, karena ada akulturasi budaya. Jadi kalau di Bali itu pura itu banyak bangunan-bangunannya, tempat persembahyangan itu banyak. Kalau di Pura Agung Girinata ini karena ada di Jawa, akulturasinya ya sesuai dengan ajaran Siwa Siddhanta itu. Cuman satu, yaitu Padma Sana. Jadi bangunan Pura Agung Girinata juga mengadopsi ciri khas bangunan yang ada di Jawa Tengah, yaitu seperti pendopo di depan, pintu gerbangnya itu menggunakan pendopo. Jadi tidak seperti bangunan pintu gerbang yang ada di Bali, yang ada angkul-angkul istilahnya. Kalau di sini pendopo, menggunakan pendopo. Kesamaannya Pura Agung Girinada ini terdiri dari 3 mandala, yaitu yang di luar itu ada nama Niste Mandala, kemudian masuk melalui Candi Bentar namanya Madya Mandala, kemudian di dalam ada namanya Utama Mandala. Jadi itu mempunyai fungsi masing-masing. Sama hal ini kalau pembagian mandala ini sama dengan di Bali. Kalau Niste Mandala digunakan untuk hal-hal niste, parkir, kamar mandi, WC, Niste Mandala. Kemudian di Madya Mandala digunakan untuk kegiatan ritus sosial kemasyarakatan. Kalau Utama Mandala hanya digunakan untuk ritus spiritual gitu. Sama dengan di Bali. Hanya saja di Jawa Tengah ini bangunannya tetap merujuk juga model bangunan yang ada di Jawa Tengah. Begitu juga tugu yang kita punya di depan itu. Di depan pom bensin itu. Itu tugu yang bangun kita di tanah pemerintah Kota Semarang. Konsep tugunya itu mengacu juga akulturasi antara tugu desain Bali, arsitektur Bali, kemudian kita padukan dengan arsitektur yang ada di candi-candi yang ada di Jawa Tengah. Candi Jawa Tengah itu kan ada seperti Gedung Songo itu. Gendut candinya. Ini kita rampingkan gitu sehingga akulturasinya kelihatan antara tugu semi-semi Bali tapi bentuknya persis dengan tugu yang ada di Jawa Tengah gitu. Ini bentuk-bentuk akulturasi yang ada.
The constructions of this temple follows the culture with a combinations of local elements of Japanese culture, but not as complete as in Bali, where Hindus dominate in Indonesia. In addition, the buildings inside the temple are not carved like those in Bali, but instead use lelengisan, a unique feature of the Agung Girinata temple. Acceptance of differences is also a form of acculturation at Girinata temple. Communities around the temple maintain a close friendship with Hindu who worship at the temple. Certainly, the traders and employees at the temple do not only come from Hindus. This form of difference forms the basis from forming a sense of belonging among others. The uniqueness of Semarang, with a variety of religions and cultures that blend into one, is present in the magnificent building of Watagang Buddhist Temple. The monastery in Pudak Payung is the center of Buddhist life and tourism in Semarang. It was built in 1955 starting from the proprietor of Semarang, Gue Tuan Ling, who has memorized by Asin Jinarakita at the Vesak 2549 event at Borobudur Temple. The unique things about this vihara is the united mix of Oriental and Javanese architecture. The traditional Javanese pendapa surrounding the complex starkly contrasts the architecture of the main vihara building. In addition, the naming Watugong is also a form of acculturation of Buddhist community in Semarang. The name Watugong comes from a natural rock formation shaped like a gong, so it is called Watu or stone and gong.
Yang pertama ada di bentuk atapnya, atap dari Dhammasala ini sendiri. Nah, atap ini itu bentuknya menyusun gitu, ada 3 susun. Nah, itu filosofinya dari bentuk rumah adat Jawa atau joglo itu ya. Nah, itu kan ada 3 susun, kemudian di atasnya itu ada bentuk stupa. Nah, bentuk stupa itu sendiri adalah dari budaya India. Nah, dan ada juga yang mengatakan bahwa bentuk atap yang menyusun itu seperti atap meru ya. Seperti bentuk-bentuk rumah adat yang ada di Bali. Kemudian itu yang pertama. Kemudian yang kedua itu ada lampu, bentuk lampu yang ini itu perpaduan dari lampunya ini desain sendiri dari arsiteknya, itu ya disesuaikan dengan bentuk atapnya. Bentuk atapnya tadi kan dari budaya Jawa ya, mengikuti bentuk lampunya, mengikuti budaya Jawa, dan di situ ada ornamennya berbentuk daun bodi. Nah, daun bodi itu sama seperti tadi stupa, yaitu dari India. Karena pohon-pohon bodi yang ada di Indonesia pun awalnya mengambil dari tanah India, seperti itu. Kemudian yang terakhir, yang ketiga itu ada bentuk relief yang terpahat di dinding sekitar Damasala. Nah, kalau zaman dahulu itu relief kan diukir itu berdasarkan tahun berdirinya bangunan itu. Pada zaman dulu reliefnya mengikuti budaya pada zaman itu. Kalau di sini itu sudah ada pahatan relief itu yang menggambarkan apa ya? Bahwa handphone Nokia. Nah, itu kan kalau handphone Nokia sekitar tahun 2000-an kalau tidak salah. Nah, seperti itu sih. Mungkin budayanya budaya lama sama budaya yang agak baru gitu.
Foreign tourists often visit the Watugong Temple to explore the historical potential assembled at the time. It can be seen from the shape of the carved reliefs that were adjusted to be time the monastery was built. The diversity and acculturations that exist in Semarang have become Semarang's characteristics. The built civilizations create harmony, peace, and care for diversity. Church, cathedral, monastery, mosque, and temple symbolize noble harmony. All 5 buildings have their own backgrounds and stories to be passed down from generations to generations. Evidence of cultural mixings or acculturations in the city of Semarang develops, lives, and does not die, side by side with the social system and people's way of thinking. The historical buildings of various religious communities are spotlights and attractions for tourists who will travel, as well as shelter for all people in the frantic differences.